I mean, how does it matter where in the world you are if you have all this around? Look at this. I spent 20 years of my life living here, and I'm so grateful to be able to just sit and watch and listen and think and be and do and have. This is your girl Silva, Stamford, Connecticut, and I'm just here to tell you my story. And if you believe that this is something that you have experienced in the past, we can share, and I will be happy to help. And yes, I did put 20 pounds during this pandemic. I tried my best, and unfortunately, apparently my best was not enough. I really want you to look at the view behind me rather than look at me all the time while I'm talking. So I'll switch cameras. I'll switch cameras again. My favorite time is to come on a Sunday after a long day. I had a long day, a long morning. I had beautiful open house with two of my co-workers, and they're a little bit newer in the game of real estate than I am. And I was glad to share with them some experience, some knowledge, some advice. And they were grateful. Such sweet girls, such sweet girls. And why would I know all this if I don't share it with you guys? I learned a lot, and then all of a sudden we started to talk about each other's lives. We completely forgot about real estate and the house that we were at, and we tapped into our past. All of a sudden to realize that two of us were flight attendants in our past, and we both have flown the world. Yes, I used to be a private jet flight attendant and the chief purser. It was a shuttle between Melbourne, Australia and New York. And here is what I have to share with you. I love the water. I can sit here with hours reading books or just looking at the water and listening to the sound of the waves. I grew up in a city, like a little bit lonely. My grandparents raised me. I didn't have self-assurance and self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't know who I was in order to believe in myself. All this that I learned here in the past 1 year was completely foreign to me. And ever since I tapped into this new knowledge, my life changed tremendously for good. Yes, I had a lot of experience around the world and I knew a lot. I have lots of degrees. However, look at these people enjoying the weather, the boat and the music. You know, it doesn't matter where you live really. It matters where you go back when you leave this place. The restaurants that you go to, the food that you have, the books that you read, the people that you surround yourself with, the person that you are. It really matters who you are and who you would like to be and how many people you can help to live a better life. This is all that it boils down to. So I went through lots of heartbreak. I lost my husband in 2013, and 5 years later I was diagnosed with cancer, and nothing was just a coincidence. Whatever was happening to me was a product of my life, was a product of how I was raised, what I believed in, how I chose to live my life. And it was nice today to actually talk to all these people at the open house And I appreciated their interest in me, in my life, and I was also happy to listen to their stories. Yes, I lost my husband and I became a single mom with lots of responsibilities. I was diagnosed with cancer and I had to survive. I owed it to myself, to my son, to my parents. I couldn't let the people who loved me let them down. I couldn't let the people who loved me down. I couldn't let them down. And I wanted the best for myself, but I didn't realize that actually this was what I wanted for myself. Back then I was just fighting for survival. Many years down the road I actually discovered that to fight for your survival is not what God wanted for you when they sent you down to earth. And words are so important. What we tell us is so important. If you're looking for survival, this is what you're going to get. If you're looking to thrive, then you have a great chance at it. Big difference. You are the same person, the situations are the same, it's the state of mind that you live in. The state of mind. So, in 2019, I survived cancer. And my job, unfortunately, as a real estate agent started to hurt. I wasn't attracting the successful situations. I wasn't attracting the right people in my life. I was kind of living in survival mode. I was living in survival mode, yes. And all these people that I was trying to help, they really didn't need my help. That's what I realize right now. And I was not really following my standards. I actually haven't built my standards. I haven't built my high standards. So I was working with the wrong people and I was attracting the wrong situations. And there was nothing wrong with the people and with the situations. I realized there was something wrong with me that I had to change. And this is how it all started. I went online. I really was not happy with the results. I mean, I have always been a capper at the office, a top producer. But then I realized that making money and selling houses was not what was making me happy, because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy with myself. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have a goal. I didn't have some kind of map for my future. I was living day by day. One day after another, after another, after another. No particular cause, no particular desire for anything. It was literally a mode of survival. And people were admiring me for everything that I was doing, but I wasn't admiring myself. And one day I came across this guy online, Wesley Billion Dollar Virgin, with his meditation course, the Overnight Millionaire. And now I'm practicing the second one, the Genie Script, which is a perfect, much better version of the first one. Because everyone who is doing the same thing over and over again and put their heart and soul into it, and they love what they're doing, and they're doing it with passion, they progress. They make progress. They accelerate. They go to the next level. And then one led to another. I see myself now at my next level when I am ready to share my story with the world. And just like I needed help a year ago, I believe that there are millions of people out there who need help, and I'm ready to help. That's why I started all this. And today was kind of a serendipity moment with these two girls who showed genuine interest in my story. And they started asking me, and I started to share things that I have never shared with anyone before. about my vulnerability, about my broken heart, about the tears, the pain, the limping, the anger. Oh my God, this was no fun where I was at the end of 2019. And then pandemic hit. So what helped me was the meditation, 3-day meditation, a three time a day meditation, which Wesley was promoting with his program. And I have to stop calling him Wesley because he's Wesley. Wesley Virgin, and his father used to be a pastor, a church pastor. I love this guy. I mean, he is my role model. He was my role model, and I cannot imagine how many haters he has in the world. People who have nothing better or else to do, and I just wonder, how didn't they get it? How didn't they find the good in him, and they focus on the worst? But since there is world and people on earth, this is how it has been. 50% are on one side of the gate, and the other 50 are on the other side of the gate. And let me just, before I keep going, I would like to share how I saved myself and what happened. So it's 2012, and my husband was diagnosed with terminal disease. It took me 8 months living and working from the hospital while looking at him, how he was dying. And then the girl today asked me, by the way, how was my nutrition? I didn't expect this question. As a matter of fact, this was a good question. And this is what happened. Because I was working a lot. Since we came to the US, I was working 5 jobs simultaneously. I never stopped working for a single day. For 5 years, I was working 7 days in a row, a few jobs in a row. We were starting at 4:30 in the morning. And this is how I built my life here. So I didn't have time to cook. He was kind of the one who was holding the household together. He was taking care of our son after school, and he learned how to cook. So when he passed away, the last thing I was having on my mind was to cook for myself. Even today, I actually eat standing in the kitchen. I don't like to sit at the table, eat by myself, and serve myself dinner, lunch, or whatever. And that's how I am right now. It's been like this for years, but at least I learned how to cook for myself, thanks to fat burn. Yes, because so after he passed away for 5 years, I was pretty much living on chips and beer. Yeah, chips and beer was my nutrition, and I had no idea that actually this is not nutrition. So yeah, I come home from work, I watch TV, and then I eat chips and beer. And then one day I stopped watching TV. This was the best thing in my life that I did. And then this is how I actually became so overweight and so unhealthy. And I have always been a very healthy person. I love life, I love to eat, I love good food. Luckily, and thank God, I have always been able to afford good food and company, and I was even catering for 100 people back then in my country. So money, in other words, as I have mentioned before, has never been a problem. But it's not about money. All right, this is going to be probably the highlight of the story, that it's not about money. And yeah, so all of a sudden I started to feel this pain in my left knee. I didn't know how fat I was. I didn't know how overweight I was. I really, because all the time I'm full of energy, And then I work, I follow. Even someone at the office gave me the Miracle Morning book of Hal Elrod, and I started following. And this is when I got my eyes open for the first time that there is something about my life that I have to change. If I want to get rid of the pain, if I want to live a better life, I have to change my life, and I have to change myself. So yeah, this is beautiful. People are happy. So what I did, one night I was praying to God. I will never forget this, 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like, am I going to live in pain like this for the rest of my life? And I came across Fat Burn, the gym that I actually attended for 5 years. I lost 40 pounds, I learned nutrition, I learned how to feed myself, I learned how to enjoy life, I gained my body back, I built my mind, and I was just extremely happy and energetic, and I was on my way to my next life when I actually discovered that I had cancer. So this cancer I had obviously 2 years before I discovered it. It was like probably about a year, and because of the stage they found. Apparently I had it before when I was overweight, but I didn't know, and I had no idea, and there was no way for me to find it. And after I lost 40 pounds, I found it because it was a lump, which I wouldn't have been able to feel before I lost these pounds. So you see how one leads to another. If you are to live on this earth, if you are to be happy, if you are to fulfill your life to the extent that you desire, it is going to happen. You're going to find the way. You're going to find the way as long as you pray and you believe. Yes, that's true. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I have always been very positive. I've always been very optimistic. I think it is by birth. I didn't work on it. It just comes natural to me. And sometimes I'm even overly optimistic, and more optimistic than I have to, because there is a borderline where you actually, when you cross it, you may lose sense of reality and you start living in la la land, which is not a bad thing as long as you can be aware of what's happening. All right, I'm just cautioning you for a moment about this. And yes, so I've already learned the Miracle Morning practice. Look it up. I'm going to have a separate chapter on that, but this is what changed my life to begin with. I was practicing waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I kept going through this routine. I was listening at 5:30 to Tony Robbins on my way to the gym. I was at the gym at 6 o'clock. I lost my hair, but it didn't stop me. It didn't prevent me from doing my work at the gym. I kept my body the same as it was. I didn't gain weight. I didn't lose weight. I was extremely healthy going through chemo. And I was working. I had about 26 closings in 6 months during chemo. I think that this is kind of a record and personal achievement that I have to be proud of. Of course, I wasn't going to do it all by myself. I was on a team back then, and the team helped me a lot. Well, I did help them as well, but they did help me. So it was a teamwork. I didn't do it by myself. And I'm very proud of sharing this with you. And another story that I shared with my colleagues today was the fact that my parents came here to live in the US about 30 years ago, long time ago. I was a flight attendant, and they both, each one of them separately, took a flight to Zurich. And then I was on the flight. I arranged to be on the flight so I can actually say goodbye to them, and I didn't know that I was saying goodbye to them like forever. They never told me that they never had an intention to come back. So they are both immigrants, and they came to the US on visas to visit, and they just never told me that they're not coming back. So there you go, I was a single child and abandoned, and it sounds really funny because I was 25 years old. However, it was a heartbreaking story for me because I was crying my eyes out. I missed them. The thing is that I never wanted to come here to this country without papers. So I applied for green card. Yeah, I sent the letters to some kind of mailbox, and we got the letter in the mail. So this was really interesting. Apparently it was another thing that was meant to be. So if someone tells you that whatever you're going through are lessons that you have to learn in order to get to the next level, the sooner you believe this person and you trust them and you trust the process and you don't question it, the better off you're going to be to get yourself to the next level. And if you didn't learn your lesson, it's going to repeat. And this is a matter of conversation in another chapter. Whatever lesson you had to learn and you didn't learn, it is going to repeat. Yeah, this also happened to me, but I'm going to talk about that probably at some other point. So that's how we ended up here, coming here in this country and started from scratch. We lost our business, we lost everything. We had to work like you don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I've worked 5 jobs simultaneously for 5 years with no interruption and no day off and no vacation. Yes. So collectively, I have worked so many hours, and I'm not complaining. I'm happy. I learned so much. I know now that I can endure pretty much anything. Just bring it on. Bring it on. Give it to me. I'm ready. And I can do it, and I can take it, and I can have fun with it. And right now in front of you is a totally different person, which I built myself. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and I cannot wait to hear about yours. Let's get together and make it happen. Much love to you. This was your girl Silva in Stamford, Connecticut, and we'll talk again.